So, what are the biggest mistakes in building habits? Um, can you please write in comments or in chat what you think are the biggest mistakes people make when building habits? I'm not sure I'm gonna see them, but okay. So let's move on. So these are the biggest mistakes, and I will be mainly focusing on the first three for the purpose of time, saving time, and mainly focusing on the biggest ones that I think are the most important for you to have like any good change that actually is relevant. So, so the first one is thinking that you have to make big leaps instead of baby steps. So a lot of times we see in sports or even in movies that somebody, let's say in this example, it's Jordan. So he wins NBA and it was like several years in a row, and he's a legend. And you see him like throwing the final shots that are the most important ones, and we assume that these are the most important um, experiences when it comes to actually building habits or like changing yourself. But actually the only way how we he got to where he to these like situations is by taking action every day, which is practice. And it wasn't just like practicing once, he was practicing all the time. So, and those are the things that we usually don't see as much. We see the highlights, but we don't see the work that is actually happening behind the scenes. So that is one really important thing to keep in mind, because any results that you get, that's a combination of small steps that you take every day. And then we all have had New Year's resolutions where we write down what we want to do or who we want to become within this year. Um, but then a lot of times what happens is that we just write them down and we don't really know where to start to get to those goals, because a lot of times they feel overwhelming. And that's where we start to feel overwhelmed. And as a result, we actually don't take any action towards them. So we just stay where we are because it feels overwhelming. Um, Solution again, it's baby steps. I will talk about that a bit more down the line, but that's the main solution. So the second one is relying too much on willpower. Willpower is a limited resource. So when we wake up, the battery of willpower is full, just like our phone. And then as we go along with the day, we are emptying this battery. And then at the end of the day, we literally have no um, willpower left. And that's where a lot of times we end up making bad decisions or giving in into certain like temptations or cravings or things like that. So as an example, if let's say you're focusing on eating healthy and like in the morning you know that okay, today I'm gonna eat healthy. So in the morning you're like, okay, I will not eat this cupcake. Then later on in the day you still fight not to eat this cupcake. um, and then towards the evening you are starting to feel that you're not sure whether you want to eat it or not. And then just before you go to sleep, you end up eating it. um, and that's because you were running out of your willpower and you were using uh, your willpower with having these temptations in front of you, which is one part of solution that I will touch on as well. Um, so solution is again baby steps and imagining that you don't have willpower. So instead of trying to fight yourself not to have this cupcake, what you can do is to actually do it is called environment design. So if you know that you want to be healthy, the best way how to make sure you don't have to use as much willpower to fight not to eat something unhealthy is to actually remove it from your environment so you don't even see it. So that way you don't have to use it. you don't have to use your willpower, and as a result you don't have you end up not eating those cupcakes. And as an example, let's say you want to exercise. So you decide, okay, I will exercise 6 hours a week. And you decide that I will do two workouts, 3 hours each, twice a week. Um, and then after the first workout, because you haven't done workout in a while, you will feel pretty tired. And then next day you will not be able to move. It will be really You'll be really sore. um, Third day, pretty much still the same. You'll be sore, you'll be tired, and as you will be thinking about having to do your workout next day, you will already start to feel some resistance because you will remember how hard it was a few days ago. um, and that's where you will make it harder for you to actually keep doing these workouts, because every time you will have to spend a lot of willpower to actually push yourself just to show up for that workout, because you will know that it will be really hard, you will not enjoy it. um, but what you can do instead is to do 1 hour um, one day where you do a workout that you actually enjoy, where the next day you don't feel that bad. Um, you actually enjoy that workout, and it gives you like positive energy. And you do it again the next day, 1 hour, again 1 hour, and you do it. You still do 6 hours, but at the same time you don't feel as bad doing it because you actually enjoyed that process. And that way you can also look forward to it, and you use less willpower to actually show up and do that exercise. um, so third one is focusing on results and not the process. And this was really big lesson for me, that I learned some time ago, but it was really, really big lesson. It really helped me to shift it where I was starting to take more action. Um, so you have a goal, and that goal is that mountain. So that's where you want to get at the top of the mountain. And you're sitting at the bottom of mountain and you look at the top and you feel overwhelmed, like how will I get to that goal? And we all want to get to that goal and we want to see the view at the mountaintop, but at the same time, if you think too much and focus too much on the result, that is not what will get you those results. What will get you results is the actions, is your lifestyle. um, and those are those actions that you take daily daily basis that will actually bring you to where you want to be. um, so what's the solution? The solution is, which is another point that I wanted to make, that many times we try to rely on motivation to get to where we want to get, but instead we have to rely on making systems. So when you build a system that you can follow, when it comes to your habits and taking those tiny actions every day, that's where you will get the results that you want to get. You build a system, and then the next thing is that you start to follow the system. So you start to take baby steps. um, that baby steps pretty much are tiny actions that don't feel overwhelming, that you can do on a daily basis. um, then as you start to take those baby steps and you stay consistent with them, you start to build momentum. And when you get in this momentum, what starts to happen is that you slowly start to change your identity, because we are what we do. And the more you start to change what you do, the more you will start to change who you identify as. Who am I? What do I stand for? And things like that. So that's where you will start to change yourself at the identity level. And because you will be able to change yourself at identity level, that's where it will be easy for you to keep going with habits. Because if you identify somebody who is not healthy, then it will be really hard for you to implement healthy habits, because you will always be fighting against your identity. But when you actually start to work towards building habits and building this identity as a healthy person, then at some point making healthy choices becomes a natural part of you and who you are. So that is really, really important point, and that's one way, if not the main way, how you can start to change your habits where you actually can maintain them long term. um any questions? No? Okay. So if there's no questions, I will do some exercises. So um the first thing I want you to do is to write down one or two things that you want to work on for next 6 months. Okay. Now, I want you to write under each 3 to 5 actions that you could take to get to this goal. Okay. um, so now that you know what you need to do to get to that point, your next step is to break down in daily actions that you can take every day. And what I want you to do is write few things that you can do on a daily basis, and next to them write how often you're going to do them. So let's say either it's daily or weekly. If weekly, then which days and what times you will do them. Okay. Now when it comes to identity, with the goals that you wrote down at the first exercise, who do you identify with when it comes to those goals? So let's say when I was saying about health, so let's say if you would write the goal that you would want to get in shape or something like that, then you would write that you identify as healthy person or unhealthy person. So next to each goal, write down who you identify with when it comes to that goal. Okay, so um, give me one goal that you wrote. Okay, reach more clients. So I can give like, I'm gonna combine first and second question. So first question is who you do identify with. So, and the next question is who you need to identify with to actually get those clients. So let's say to get clients, do you identify as somebody who is confident at reaching out to people, getting leads, or have business mind, uh, or let's say you are really good with people and it's easy for you to ask for money, um, and that's where you can see which parts you have that you want to identify with or you need to actually be able to get those clients, and which ones you need to work on. And from that place you can look at what baby steps you need to take to actually start building that identity of being somebody who can easily get more clients. Does it make sense now? Okay. Um, so let's say when it comes to getting leads, the next question would be for you to think what action steps you need to take to actually get more leads. So that's the next um no. What action steps you need to take to become this person who has these things easily come to him. So let's say um being comfortable talking to people or getting more comfortable with sales, then it would be the action steps would be to start studying sales, reading books or watching courses, and actually reaching out to people and practicing these skills where at some point you feel so comfortable with them that they become part of you. So like with each goal, when you have written down who you are right now when it comes to this goal, and who you want to identify with or who you need to become, then you can take next step where you actually write down what are the action steps I need to take to actually become this person. Because for you to get any results in any area, you need to become that person who will naturally attract it. So let's say that's what I say when it comes to success. So for you to be successful, you have to become a person who people would look at and tell you're a successful person. So um so let's say, like what you said about confidence, so let's say if you want to get more clients, then you have to be really confident. How you build confidence? You start to take those actions until you get to a place where it's like a normal thing. You feel confident to do those things, um, because like that's confidence is pretty tricky because it's like a byproduct of um, getting out of your comfort zone and taking those actions. So um, once you start taking those actions to get to a place where you become this person who is really good at whatever goal you have, um, that's where you will get those results, if that makes sense. Okay. Any questions, or maybe some questions about the tasks themselves? Alrighty. Okay. So thank you for coming, and see you another time.